All right, I hope more people are able to join us tonight. If you haven't had an opportunity to, please add your name on the chat, put your pronouns. We are very, very happy to see everyone here. I hope you are able to learn a lot off of today and that you're able to apply to the Young Women Initiative Cabinet. Um, but yes, like I said, welcome. Today we're going to talk about the Young Women Initiative Cabinet. My name is Maricruz Lozano Rios. I am the Youth Program Coordinator with the YWCA St. Paul. And I'll pass it to my colleague who is here with me today as well, who will be doing the presentation with me. So go ahead.
Hello, everyone. It's so nice to see so many of you here on this webinar. My name is Janet Jimenez. I am the Fellow and Program Manager at the Women's Foundation of Minnesota, and I work closely with Maricruz when it comes to the Young Women's Cabinet. And we're excited to share about the program and ways that you can apply for this opportunity.
So today we're going to talk a little bit more about what's the Young Women's Initiative. So I'm going to hand it to Janet first to give you a little bit of context, and then we'll go forward from there.
Thank you, Maricruz. So a little bit about the Young Women's Initiative. It launched originally by the Women's Foundation of Minnesota in partnership with the Governor's Office in 2016. And the Young Women's Initiative of Minnesota centers the leadership and solutions of young Black, Indigenous, and women of color, young women of Greater Minnesota, LGBTQ plus youth, and young women with disabilities. The Young Women's Initiative of Minnesota also aims to eliminate the barriers of young women and gender-expansive people that they face. So Maricruz will talk a little bit about how the cabinet is connected to the Young Women's Initiative.
So, like Janet said, the Young Women's Cabinet comprised of young women and youth leaders ages of 16 to 24 from 8 communities across Minnesota. Is in charge with ensuring that work of the Young Women's Initiative stays grounded in the lived experiences of the young women and youth from each community and community-specific challenges and solutions that identify in the blueprint of action. And we'll talk a little bit more about the blueprint of action. But the cabinet will engage in leadership development, policy training, advocacy practice to advance equity, and the YWCA St. Paul works with the Young Women's Cabinet to provide leadership development. The purpose of the YWI is to enhance the voices of young women and gender-expansive youth adults in the state of Minnesota with the objective of learning and advocating for the changes that are needed in our community. So we'll go ahead and talk a little bit more about the Young Women's Initiative. And we can go ahead and play a little bit on the video. It gives you more context and experiences of young women who've been part of the cabinet.
As Minnesotans, we are proud to live in a state known for its renowned quality of life, economic opportunity, education, and healthcare. However, another reality overshadows this common image of Minnesota. There are racial and gender inequities that Minnesota residents face, particularly young women of color, including violence, income disparities, and limited opportunities, such as absence from tech fields. The Women's Foundation of Minnesota is working with young women and communities across the state to spark change that will transform futures.
Women have always had to do more to succeed.
Some of the challenges I think young women face today is definitely social media and the pressure to be perfect.
For example, I'm an LGBTQ identifying person, but I am also an immigrant, I'm also Latinx, and I'm also Black, right? And so I think that I spent a long time seeing aspects of my character as being deficits, as being limiting factors to my development, and aspects of my character have limited my access to opportunities.
What can we do to change this? With the Young Women's Initiative, we're on a mission to create a Minnesota where every girl has the opportunity to thrive and is a champion of her own life. First, we listened to over 500 young women and community members who shared with us their challenges and solutions. We formed a governor-appointed cabinet of 25 young women leaders across 8 different communities. Then, 70 cross-sector leaders from corporations, government, philanthropy, universities, and nonprofits were appointed to a council. Over the next 6 years, we will drive solutions together that transform our state and benefit everyone. With a clear blueprint for action grounded in community and ambitious agenda, the Young Women's Initiative of Minnesota will foster new relationships, influence policy, and ensure access to equal opportunity for young women. Funds will be invested in the innovative ideas of young women and community organizations to drive change.
When I think about the challenges that women face today, I imagine this brick wall. And I've gotten in fights with this wall before, but the wall doesn't move and I end up hurt. I believe that the Young Women's Initiative is one brick that we can punch through to make this wall collapse.
For the first time in Minnesota history, we have a statewide initiative centered on young women, led by young women. And by working alongside a national collaborative of young women's initiatives, we will highlight challenges and solutions, inspire action, and ignite change locally and across the U.S. to ensure equity and outcomes for all young women across the country.
I applied to join the Young Women's Initiative because there isn't much opportunities for young women, especially young women of color, Black women, to make their way into policymaking discussions and actually have a say.
So I think it's very awesome that they created a cabinet of about 25 young women, and we range from different ages. We're in high school, we're in college. Some of us aren't choosing the path of college. We're around, we're a very diverse group.
I want to see not only American Indian young women in my community, but American Indian women in general in all communities to not have their path paved for them. I want them to be able to pave their path. There's always going to be someone who's going to put you down, but you are the agent of that change.
Join us. Become a champion with young women in our state and ensure a better future for all.
Thank you. And we'll share this as well, and this will be on our website. But this is one of our biggest tools that we use is the blueprint to be able to support the young women. But there is another tool that we do use with the Young Women Initiative.
As Minnesota,
And that is the status of women and girls. And so I will let Janet explain a little bit more about the status of women and girls.
Yeah, so this is something new that we're trying to implement this upcoming year. As you can see, we had the 7-year goal and we are now past the 7-year goal. So this is a new phase that we're trying to try out. And the status of women and girls is a data report that is collected. So the Women's Foundation of Minnesota, in partnership with the University of Minnesota's Humphrey School Center of Women, Gender, and Public Policy, launched its newest research in March of 2024. And this is a research that is specific to Minnesota women, girls that have been gathered and analyzed and published in topics such as economics, safety, health, and leadership. So we can learn more about what are the disparities that are happening across our state when it comes to women and girls. So this is a useful tool that we hope that the cabinet will be able to engage with and learn about ways that they can impact their community for the better. And to learn more about the data, feel free to check out the report. We will share a link in the chat with the full report that you can feel free to look at. It has very valuable information in there as well. Next slide. And then as the video spoke a little bit about intersectionality, the intersectional equity framework and anti-racist practice is one that the Women's Foundation holds closely and is something that is practiced across the cabinet as well. When women and girls and their families thrive, communities thrive, and the framework considers how intersecting identities of individuals and communities impact their access to opportunity, well-being, and equity. This analysis is required to create the conditions so that all people have what they need to thrive. So when we speak about women, our definition for women is any woman and girl includes anyone who identifies as a woman or girl. Our program is also inclusive of transgender and gender-expansive people that experience gender-based structural harm. And as we can see through the diagram, when we talk about intersectionality, we look at one's race, gender, where they live, and other aspects such as their ethnicity, age, immigration status, sovereignty, disability, whether they're part of the LGBTQ community, because we all know that depending on one's identity, one's identity, everyone's life looks different. So we want to incorporate this into the cabinet as well. Next slide.
So now here, I wanted to share a couple of pictures and kind of speak about the work that the Young Women Initiative Cabinet gets to do. So these are some of our past cabinet members, as you can tell in the pictures. Some of our focuses here are policy, community engagement, communication. We do work with young women, like I said earlier, from the ages of 16 to 24. They're from different backgrounds, they're from different communities, abilities. And they all have issues that they want to advocate for and that they feel strong about. And so a little bit about our focuses, right? So the cabinet gets to create a policy agenda every year, and this is all based on a cabinet that we have and the issues that they want to push forward and they want to advocate and engage in. And so some of the policy things that the girls get to do during the cabinet is they get to learn a little bit about bills, they learn about the legislation, they learn about how to be aware about the issues. They also get to testify in the Capitol. As you can tell in one of our pictures here, we have one of our cabinet members. She was testifying for the PRO Act. And then they also get to do roundtable discussions with elected officials. In one of our pictures here, we have the lieutenant governor. We also have council members. We have commissioners. This is something that the cabinet created and wanted to do and have more conversations with women who are in these positions and learn about their journey and how they got there, obstacles, also just how do they do their work day to day. And so this is all that the cabinet does through policy. And they also get to do the day at the Capitol. They get to lobby, they get to push for their policy agenda. So some of this is the policy aspect of the cabinet. This does not mean that you have to know policy. We teach you policy. We're with you there. We have amazing people who are always there to educate, support throughout the whole process that we're doing. So you don't have to learn policy, you don't have to know policy to be part of the cabinet. You just have to be willing to learn. And also, if you have an issue, we are more than willing to hear you and support you. And then the way that they also get to do is community engagement. So they get to engage the community based on their policy agenda. And a great example that we have is one of the issues that was really close to the cabinet was housing. Since it's something that's very visible in the state of Minnesota, it's something that we some of our community members are faced with being houseless. And so the cabinet this year had the opportunity of doing a community conversation around housing and talking about the vocabulary, the issues that are faced, talking about organizations that offer resources, talking about the whole process and how housing is very complicated. And so that is one form that they decide to engage their community. There's many other forms by going to schools, by volunteering. But we just listened to what the cabinet wants to do and how they want to engage the community based on their policy agenda or the issues that they're very that they want to advocate for. And then communications. Another aspect of our cabinet is communications, and this is also important because this is how they want to what is it? This is how they want to use like the message to just let the whole community know, like this is what's going on, either if it's through Instagram, through videos, through what is it, if it's through podcasts, whatever form that they want to communicate these issues or the things that they want to work on, they get to decide on how to do it. So these are some of our focuses that we get to do with the cabinet. These are some of the pictures that we have here with the cabinet testifying, talking to their lieutenant governor, to commissioners, being at the Capitol, presenting their policy agenda, for me even meeting Ilhan Omar, and many more. But this is our cabinet from last year, and we hope that you're part of it for the moving year. But it's all based on what the girls want to do, and that's how we move forward and what they're passionate about. But yeah, we can go ahead to the next slide.
So I will be talking about your experience and what you will be getting out from participating in the Young Women's Cabinet. So when participating in the cabinet, this will mean that you will be getting appointed by the Minnesota Governor's Office. When participating, our goals are for you to strengthen your leadership and advocacy skills by empowering you all to contribute to dialogues, planning your work. As Maricruz said, this is very youth-led, so it's all up to you and your fellow cabinet members on deciding what you want to address and how you want to address these issues, and access and find ways to address these action areas when it comes to the blueprint and the status of women and girls that directly impacts your life and the community, your communities. So the Young Women's will also create community by sharing stories, building identity, and responding to solutions, planning, and implementation. So what this means is that you will all be working together and forming ways on how you want to implement certain things when it comes to the social justice that you are seeking. Provide space for cabinet members and create meaningful connections beyond the program. This just means that you will be forming multiple relationships within the cabinet and the community partners that we engage with. So it's a form of building your leadership and getting to know people across the state. So it's pretty much the experience.
I want to piggyback. So yes, we are statewide. So that means that we do get young women across the state of Minnesota. So not just Minneapolis, Minnesota. But I do want to talk a little about the eligibility. So some of the young women that can apply, ages from 16 to 24, you must reside in the state of Minnesota. You must be able to identify one of these communities that is either Black and African American, African immigrant, American Indian, Hispanic and Latina, Asian Pacific Islander, LGBTQ+, disability, greater and rural Minnesota. And then the next slide. So what to expect? So the Young Women Initiative Cabinet will be meeting virtually, occasionally in-person events. This is also based on your projects, the things that you guys want to lead. So that means that we might need to meet more based on your project. That means like preparing, making sure you have everything you need. That means maybe more training, whatever that might look like. And then we do have, so the virtual meetings are mandatory as well. And then we do have some in person, and then some of our major events that we do have, we'll have the kickoff just to start off the year. We'll have a conference, we'll have maybe a retreat, and then we'll have the day at the Capitol, and then the end of the year celebration. So those are some of our major events. And then compensation. We do pay all young women in the cabinet for the work that they do. So we're choosing to raise the rate this year to 16 an hour. But yeah, so we pay all of you. We make sure that the work that you do is paid for. And then the other thing is that we do reimburse mileage for those that are greater or rural Minnesota. We also cover hotels for the young women that are coming from greater and rural Minnesota. And we also are willing to accommodate. That means that if you're, for example, somebody with disability who requires ASL interpretation, this is just an example, we get interpreters for you to make sure that you're able to be present 100% in the meetings. And then we are also very inclusive to young moms. We know that there is young moms that are there that also want to be part of programs like this. And so we also support with childcare. That means that we're willing to pay whoever is babysitting the child. So that doesn't come out of the mom. So that's some of the accommodations that we do have. We are very supportive of our young women that are in the cabinet. We try to make sure that you're able to participate, do what you want within the cabinet, and do the work that you're very passionate about. So, any questions? I want to open it up for any questions. If me and Janet don't have the answer to the question, we will try to make sure to get back to you, but we want to answer any questions or doubts that you might have at this very moment. And feel free to add them on the chat or get off speaker if you would like.
I'm raising my hand the old-fashioned way. This is Erin, Sienna's mom, and what is the year timeline?
So we start in September and we end in June. So that's our timeline. That's when we start. And it's like the whole year that we're planning and working with them the whole time. Yeah. So what we do for the policy, and Janet and Cynthia, I know Cynthia, I believe, is here. But we do a lot of research with the cabinet, and we do get to work closely with the governor's team. They do help us to get advocates from their team to get a little bit more information on specific subjects that they are interested in. But Janet and Cynthia, if you want to jump in too. A little bit on the policy side.
Sure, I'll jump in. Hi, everybody. My name is Cynthia Bowerly, and I work at the Women's Foundation. The policy initiatives are really decided by the cabinet. So when the cabinet is convened in September, the members will discuss what are the things that they want to work on. And then again, as Marie Cruz said, all of the support that you need to investigate those ideas and understand what like legislation might need to change to make that better as you see fit. Then the job that Marie Cruz and Janet have are to really just support that. So you all decide what the cabinet wants to work on if you're on the cabinet.
Thank you, Cynthia. And I don't know, Jenna, if you want to add on. I know you get to work a lot on policy.
Yeah, so I worked a little bit with the cabinet members, and particularly to the policy focus, and they work together to, like we mentioned, create the policy agenda, which in a sense is like looking at different bills that they want to support throughout the legislative session, and throughout the whole course of the cabinet year, they plan out ways that they want to either leverage or amplify the issues to community, and find ways. We also give them ways on how they can interact with the legislative session, such as testifying, writing letters to the representatives to show support on the bills that they select. So it's all up to the cabinet.
Thank you, Janet. And then I see another question on, is this weekly, monthly? Every year has been different. It all depends on the cabinet. We try to make sure that the cabinet has the final decision on the day and the time and how many times we get to meet. In these past 2 years with the cabinet, it has been twice a month. Every Thursday afternoon from 6 to 8. That has been the day that works the best for the cabinet that we had. And it was for 2 hours basically. And like I said, so if there's more projects that you guys have, then you get to decide as a group to meet more times outside of that, give that official time that we have set. But it's all based on projects as well. So that means that you might have to meet more times outside of that one day that we meet as a whole cabinet. And the most hours that you might have to work in a month is 10. But it's all really deciding in your cabinet, making sure it aligns, you guys are on the same schedule, same time, the day works for you all to be able to work together, meet, and do the work. So that's how we've done it. We make sure that they have the first word, they have the decision making on it. Me and Janet just make sure that you're able to meet, connect, even hold a space for you, whatever that looks like, to make sure that you're able to meet. But that's as many hours that you might have to work, 10 hours max a month. And you do get paid monthly. It's not like by parts. We make sure that the cabinet members are paid monthly. Any other questions?
Hi, I just have a quick question with the application, like process and timeline. And my apologies if I missed this at the beginning. But could you remind me when the applications are due? And then is there any sort of follow-up? Like, are there interviews, second phases, kind of anything like that?
Yes, of course. So our application will close on June 14th. If needed for an extension, we will. And then what we do is that as partners, since we are the YWCA, we are the Women's Foundation and the governors, what we do is that we review all the applications as partners. And then from there, the final decision is the governors. And correct me if I'm wrong, Cynthia. But yeah, the governor gets the final decision. There is no interview. And yeah, so you can add your resume, you can add a cover letter if you'd like. But we just all as partners get to review all of it and make sure that we make a decision on the set of 24, 25 cabinet members. But the final decision is the governor. So, good question.
Awesome, thank you. And then just one last quick question. So then when do we hear the decision from the governor before the September cohort kicks off?
I would say before August.
Okay,
And Janet,
awesome.
jump in.
Thank you.
Yeah, the timeline right now is either the first or second week of August is when we're going to be announcing publicly who was selected for the cabinet cohort.
Got it. Thank you.
Any other questions, concerns? If not, feel free to always reach out. We can go to the next slide, Alexa. So
Actually, I have like
oh, go
I have
ahead.
like one quick question.
Yes.
So I know the application opened on the 20th, but when I tried to like fill out the application, the link wasn't working. Would there be a opportunity for you to send the link out to us?
Yeah, so thank you so much because you were one of the individuals who identified that, and me and Janet worked on that this morning. So it should be able to work now. I appreciate you so much for adding that in your webinar application. But we made sure to work on that and correct that. So you should be able to apply now. If it doesn't work, please reach out to us, but we make sure to update it. So it should work now, if I'm correct, right, Alexa?
Yes, the link should work. I'll also put my email in the chat. If it's not, please let me know. I'm Alexa McIndoe. I'm the communications project manager at the Women's Foundation. So sorry about that little hiccup, but we'll fix it.
I also included the link to the cabinet blog post, which includes the application link, and it should work now. So I recommend trying that out. And if it still doesn't work, we would like for you to bring that to our attention so we can fix that as soon as possible.
Yes, please do so. But yeah, we made sure to get it ready and going again. Thank you so much for addressing that to us. But the QR code is here. Like I said, reach out to me, reach out to Janet. We're both here for you all to make sure that you're able to apply. Please, please, please apply. I encourage you. We want to see new young women on our cabinet and see what type of issues are important to them and how can we support them. And then we can go to the last slide, Alexa. So I'm the main contact for this, and so my email is here below. My phone number is here. This is my personal phone number, so feel free to text me if any issues pop up. And then it's both on the Women's Foundation and on the YWCA St. Paul page, the application. So you can either do it on either site. They have the application on both. Yeah. Any other questions? Well, we hope to see you all apply this year's cabinet. I hope to see your name in the application. Um, but yeah, like I said, feel free to reach out to us. Thank you for spending tonight with us and learning a lot about the cabinet. But this will be posted again if you forgot something and you need to check again. This webinar will be on our websites for reference, just in case for you all. Thank you so much. Have a great night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Have a good night.